Natlan is done for. Well, the Archon quest is, and with it, there's still one question left unsolved. Where is Pyro Traveler? Look at the camera. Okay, close enough. Well, with the confirmation of Pyro Mommy Mavuika, it's pretty much a given that Natlan's Archon quest is about to end. Either way, with this minimal amount of data, along with Genshin Impact's wiki and the totally safe and wholesome fandom, I tasked myself with discovering the secrets behind Pyro Traveler without any spoilers. So here is my take on the Pyro Traveler in Genshin Impact. This is probably going to blow up in my face in about a week. First things first, let's talk about the connection between the Traveler, the Archon, and slimes? Much like how Pokemon evolve or going from a level 1 goon to a level 50 Mafia boss, slimes and the Traveler seem to have dumbed down versions of their respective elemental Archon. Animo slimes create gusts of wind upon death, they hover and shoot ranged wind bullets at you. Venti makes large drafts and will probably die of alcohol poisoning, alongside shooting animo arrows and creating a giant vortex, much like his presence in Mondstadt. The Traveler kinda acts as a mid-stage evolution between the two, having some mild crowd control through his wind sucky, he makes ranged wind blades with his normals, and this trend seems to track with most of the other elements. Geoslimes make shields and small rock, Traveler has two biggish rocks, and HonestLee makes better shield and big rock. Electro Slimes have two variants and deal zappy zaps, Traveler has a twin and has energy charging zappy zaps, and Raiden has a dead twin. The point is, we can use the slime and the Archon to kind of guesstimate what the Pyro Traveler is going to be like.
But Han, Mavuika's not even out yet. How can you even guess anything?
Great question, Fakehan, but I swear to God, if you ever question me one more time, I will shove my fist so far up your— It's true, we don't know a whole lot about Mavuika yet, but we do have a couple great resources we can take inspiration from to try and guesstimate how this is gonna go. And there's actually a lot more than you'd think. Pyro Slimes tend to have a cool versus charge mode. If Pyro is applied to it, it begins to glow, ignite, and start dealing Pyro damage. It shoots multiple fireballs that deal AoE Pyro damage, and has a Kamikaze, where upon death, it explodes into big PP Pyro damage. Starts to glow. Phlogiston? Natlan? We already know that with Natlan characters, they have a unique ability called Nightsoul, where they glow and they flash and they do all sorts of cool stuff. And through in-game content, we already know that Mavuika's hair glows like the sun and also is kind of shaped like the Pyro icon, which is like props to the design team. That's sick. Alongside that, we've seen her being able to use huge fireball attacks, maybe potential flight. Combine this with the fact that all Archons / Sovereigns have kind of been like support / sub DPS roles, minus Nuvalette as the main DPS, and I guess Raiden, but either way. We take all this, we take everything we know about Natlan characters and how they're built so far, and we put them together, and here's overall what the Traveler's going to have in some shape or form. Let's start with the obvious, Nightsoul Blessing. If Traveler got the gimmick from Fontaine, no reason why he wouldn't get that too. Second thing, high mobility in some shape or form. All Natlan characters have been shown to have some sort of unique movement that's better than all the other Genshin characters so far, and seeing that Mavuika has a motorcycle in her banner art, it's pretty obvious that Mavuika herself is going to have some sort of high range of mobility, so Travelers should probably get a nerfed version of that. Alright, this next bit is a little theory crafting on my part, but hear me out. So Natlan is known as the Nation of Dragons, mainly because of the Saurians, and each Natlan character is shown to have a Saurian partner, or a Saurian connection. In our case, we already have a Saurian partner, the little one, Tepetosaurus. In my case, I called him Logon. If you get the reference, thank you. Go watch Gurren Logon, great show. Also, in that latest animation that I referenced, we see Traveler fighting against the mutated Kukusaur, which to my knowledge, we haven't actually fought or know about canonically aside from just word of mouth, which I think is really interesting, especially since we got a sneak peek at what the Traveler is going to be doing in the Night Kingdom with Mavuika, which we didn't actually know about until the latest update drop. I'm not saying the Traveler is going to fly, but I am saying that's two dragons, along with the fact that we were called the one beloved by dragons at the start of Natlan's quest, and this all ties into the kit I have come up with for Pyro Traveler. Alright, we've laid out everything we know so far. Here is my idea of the Pyro DPS Traveler, the one who subscribes and hits the bell icon. I'm sorry, obligatory. I had to do it, okay? But seriously, before we get any further, if you're enjoying it so far, like the video, comment down below what you think the Pyro Traveler is going to be like. Comment whether you think I'm going to be right or wrong. Please try and keep it spoiler free. I know there's leaks and all sorts of things going around, but let's try and keep the experience fresh for everybody. Please and thank you.
감사합니다.
Alright, for real this time, Pyro Traveler, which I have officially dubbed the one beloved by dragons. I'm thinking this is a DPS or sub-DPS Traveler. The way they built up Pyro Traveler this time is so different from all the other things we know, and Pyro being such an attack-heavy element makes me think that, hey, we deserve a proper DPS Traveler or sub-DPS Traveler that we can actually use. Normal charge attacks. I don't think there's going to be anything that different. I know it sucks. I'd like to see some different attack patterns, which actually ties into the skill, which I've called Beloved Dragon's Charge. Upon activating your skill, Traveler enters the Nightsoul state, upon which infusing his blade with Pyro. While Traveler is in his Nightsoul state, he gains a new normal and charge attack pattern, which upon attacking will emit flame slashes in the director Traveler faces. While he's in this Nightsoul state, Traveler gains a unique flaming aura, enhancing his speed, allowing him to kind of zip around like the Flash, which I think is still kind of a nerf from Mavuika's bike, however they're gonna approach that, while also still being pretty fun on its own. But in addition to these attacks, dashing while in this state is enhanced with flames, increasing the distance traveled and dealing pyro damage upon dashing through enemies in his path. I think this is a fun balance of allowing him to be a main DPS and dealing pyro damage on his own, while also being able to apply pyro damage in maybe like 2-3 charges. After all, if Traveler's going to survive the Night Kingdom, they're going to need to be able to move around at a moment's notice. We've seen from the animation how crazy things are going to get down there. I think it only makes sense that Traveler's combat is really going to shine with this kit. And of course, we can't forget the burst, which I'm calling the Beloved Dragon's Cry. This one doesn't really fit the whole Night Kingdom survival thing, but hear me out. Traveler summons Little One, his Tapetosaurus, who becomes infused with pure phlogiston and stomps the ground, dealing AoE pyro damage with each stomp, kind of like a larger AoE Guoba. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of Zhangling being the de facto pyro applicator. I think it's been long enough that it's okay for the Traveler to be stronger than actual 4 stars, maybe 5 stars, especially with games like Honkai Star Rail and Wuthering Waves allowing their protagonists to have good kits. After Hydro Traveler, I think we need it. Like seriously, Hoyoverse, what were you doing with Hydro Traveler? He was so cool. I love water. But we're not done just yet. Certain characters in Genshin Impact are able to have really unique interaction with multiple elements. Chaska straight up has the ability to deal multiple different types of elemental damage, just based off of your team. Multiple different elements? Started with air? I wonder if there's another character that has something similar. Right, Aang! Okay, all jokes aside, I'm not kidding about the reaction bit. Basically, all the Natlan characters have new and unique interactions based specifically off of pyro reactions. But with Traveler specifically, and the fact that he actually can use multiple elements, I feel like it only makes sense for maybe Traveler to have an extra ability. Maybe this can involve dealing different types of damage based off of the pyro reaction you create. Or at the very least, maybe enhancing the damage of the elements in the reaction. I know we kind of just got that with Zelonin, but I feel like it's not that far of a stretch for Pyro Traveler to have it too, especially if it's the elements that Traveler currently has and can actively use together, which again we saw in the video and we've seen the Traveler do canonically in game. And that is everything surrounding Pyro Traveler that I think is going to happen for his kit. Now, I could be totally off the mark, but if I'm not, this video is going to go crazy. And seriously, I haven't seen any leaks, I haven't seen any spoilers, I know nothing about Mavuika, Silali, Pyro Traveler's kits or anything like that. So please don't put any leaks or spoilers in the comments below. These are all just predictions off of my head, so I feel like I can say anything I want, but at the same time, don't confirm or deny anything in the comments below. It's not going to be fun for me, it's not going to be fun for the other people who don't want to be spoiled. Let's try and keep this fun for everyone. But seriously, thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed. This is my first time making a video like this and it's very different from my usual content, so if you want to see more, let me know in the comments below and maybe double check if you're subscribed. Even if you are, you never know what'll happen, and make sure to hit the bell icon because I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to get the latest and greatest news, I'm currently doing a Pokemon challenge run. There's so much happening right now and trust me, you don't want to miss a thing. With that being said, have a great day, night, whatever time it is for you. It is almost 6 a.m. for me, so I'll see you all later. Have a good one.